Welcome. We are going over roles and permissions in SalesRabbit. So we're in the web app for SalesRabbit. Go ahead and press settings, roles and permissions. Why are roles and permissions so important? Similar to our org chart, this provides organization and hierarchy in the company. Each role is going to be unique to help make sure that each individual in your organization can see the things they're supposed to, and then, if needed, prevent certain roles or users from being able to have access to certain things like account settings. If they're a rep, they shouldn't be able to change those kind of things, but giving them access to view other people's leads. So this is where we're going to come in and configure to make sure that everybody has the proper role and abilities necessary. On this left side over here, these are the current roles. These can be changed and edit. These are just the default ones that come, but you're going to notice a couple of things. One is you have owner. Owner is always going to remain the same, but everything underneath can all be edited and changed. Second thing you're going to notice is the ranking. One, two, three, four, five down is this is the order in which certain roles can edit for other people. Meaning, if you're an owner, nobody can edit your settings or permissions or make changes to your user. That's to prevent maybe a rep from editing the owner and causing issues in the account. Underneath owner, you have admin. So owners can change everything for everybody underneath. Admin can't change above. Same for a regional manager, can't change admins, but they can change things for people below them. So keep that in mind. Again, this is creating a hierarchy, so make sure that you pay attention to where roles are at. The great part is that you're not limited to a specific number of roles. So if you have 15 different roles at your company that all would be using SalesRabbit and they have different permission settings, then great, go ahead and create as many as you want. You could have two. It's really up to you on what makes sense for your organization. The recommendation is really to stick as close as you can to this default. This typically works for the majority of people. Maybe it's just a changing of a name. So let's actually go into the permissions and what should be the permission sets for some of these generic roles. Let's start down with a rep. A rep, this is going to be your base level employee, the person that's knocking doors for you or maybe closing some deals. They don't need a lot of access. So going through some of these main points, account settings, they probably shouldn't have access to that. Managing and deleting other users, they shouldn't have access to that. So we're making sure these toggles are off. Importing leads or importing data, they may have access to that or may not. Most people we're going to take that off so they don't import a bunch of data that's not very good. Now, view leads is an important one, and this varies from company to company. View leads means the ability to see, it's not your leads, it's to see other people in the organization's leads. So oftentimes what you're going to see is people will allow their reps to view other people's leads, but then right here we have the option to change the organization or where they can see in the organization. So seeing at a company level, department-wide level, region, office, team. So typically what you're going to see for a rep is they have the permission or ability to view leads just within their office, just within their immediate coworkers. But again, could be up to you. Maybe you want them to see the whole entire office. The ability to add or delete leads. This should be turned on for every rep, unless your business model specifically, you don't want your reps adding brand new leads. This typically is only for our telco vertical that we service. Coming down to manage other leads. This is a hit or miss. Some people like their reps to be able to manage other people's leads, meaning they have the ability to edit or delete other people's leads, make updates, change the notes, etc. If this is off, they still may be able to view those leads, but they cannot touch or make changes to those leads. So again, different for every company. You can also select, do we want this to be turned on, but only for an office, only for a region, etc. Batch leads should always be off for every role except for the owner. Keep view agreements on it. That's if you have digital contracts. Manage areas. This is a permission setting where it will allow them to create areas for other people, also delete and edit who's assigned to specific areas. This is typically turned off for most reps and left on for manager and above because they're the ones who create area and assign it to help with territory management, which we have a video later on about that. So typically we want the rep to not manage their own areas, and so we turn that off. User location, manage news, send news, initiate chats. These are typically managerial and above permissions. User locations is being able to view where do certain users go and travel to while using the app. Manage news, sending out news, and these are big news blasts. Typically, you don't want your rep to be able to send stuff out like that. Initiate chats. Oftentimes it's on, but it's a limited permission. This is being able to send a one-on-one DM or create a group message with people. Again, you typically want to limit that so people aren't talking across the department. Helps to limit and keep communication siloed. Learn authoring, view insights, also typically off for a rep. When we get into data grid, there's a lot that goes into data grid. This is typically how you want it. Data grid areas off because they're not creating their own areas. That's for managers and above. Buyer scores and on demand. This is just the ability to see the individual data grid pins. We typically want to keep these on for your reps because that's going to empower them to do their job better. Same for weather maps. Again, empowering your rep to do better. The ability to schedule appointments for others and the ability to accept appointments we want on almost always.